Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Cam Fats, aka Cam Jennings, coming at you on behalf of EpicConversions.com. Man, I want to talk to you guys about thinking outside the box today because, as an entrepreneur, I find myself facing problems every day. Like, literally, every single day, I'm facing some kind of new, weird little obstacle. I'm always finding different ways to solve these problems. But one thing that really helps me is to do lateral thinking. And that's another way of saying outside the box thinking. And I want to give you guys I want to give you a way to spark lateral thinking, to spark outside the box thinking today. And I'm going to do this I'm going to do this in 4 parts, okay? 4 parts on this. First, let me give you a definition of lateral thinking before we even get into this. Okay, lateral thinking is the solving of problems by an indirect and creative approach, right? Typically through viewing the problem in a new and unusual light, right? That's the key right there. Viewing the problem in a new and unusual light. That's where people run into trouble. It's really hard to get a new perspective on a problem that you're trying to solve, right? The problem of starting an online business, or how do I get this affiliate marketing project I'm working on to make money? It's really hard to approach that from a new and unusual light, right? We're going to talk about that today. So if you have that problem and you are not good at outside the box thinking, and let me tell you something, this really is a video for everybody. I mean, unless you know everything that I'm getting ready to say, this is a video for you, because outside the box thinking has helped me so much in my online career. So we're going to get into it. So the first thing I want to do right now is I want to introduce you to this 9-dot puzzle. Okay. Now, if you're watching this, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and take a piece of paper, and I want you to write these 9 dots down. Okay. And I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened in my life. And what I want you to do while I'm telling you this story is I want you to try to use 4 lines only, 4 straight continuous lines. And I want you to connect all 9 dots. Your pencil cannot leave the paper. You must connect all the dots with 4 straight lines, and your pencil cannot leave the paper. So you work on this little puzzle. And I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me. And when I'm done telling you the story, I'll give you the solution to the puzzle. Now, this puzzle right here is from like 1917 is when it first really was introduced. When it first started coming around, it was the earliest date I can find for it is 1917. So it's been around. There's a chance you might have seen this puzzle, and if so, that's okay. But if you haven't seen the puzzle, try the puzzle right now, okay? 9 dots, all right? And go ahead, and I want you to try to connect all 9 dots with 4 straight lines. Your pencil cannot leave the paper. You go ahead and try that now, and I want to tell you a story, okay? Several years ago, I lived in the great state of Rhode Island, and my ex-wife now, but my wife at the time, she wanted to move back to Ohio. She wanted to move to Ohio, and I had some savings, and I didn't want to use my savings to move back to Ohio. I wanted to find a way to maybe like not use my savings to make that move. And any of you guys who ever moved across states, like moved out of state, know that it can be a little bit expensive. You got to get a moving truck, and you got to, it's just kind of expensive, So I was trying to figure out a way that I could pay for this move without spending any of my money, basically. So what I did was I said to myself, how could I not spend any of my money and still move us to Ohio? And what I came up with, one night I was coming home from work, and I noticed everybody, it was trash night, in my neighborhood, and I noticed like most neighborhoods, on trash night, people were putting out all their trash. And I noticed, I was noticing something that night. People weren't just putting out like garbage bags, right? People were putting out like furniture and tables and chairs and microwaves and just all kinds of stuff, like most neighborhoods, right? People put out old stuff that they don't want anymore. So I said, you know what? We're not moving for about 3 or 4 months, We're not moving till the springtime. So I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to gather up all these people's trash in my neighborhood. Every trash night, I'm going to just, drive around the neighborhood. And every trash night, I'm going to drive around the neighborhood. And I'm going to look for things that appear to be pretty okay, like chairs that appear to be okay. Tables appear to be okay. Microwaves. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with this microwave. Televisions, board games, you name it. Things that ended up right there on the side of the road in the trash. I went around religiously I think it was Thursday night, and gathered them up and put them in a spare room that we had in the house we were staying in. And my wife at the time said, "You're absolutely crazy. What are you doing? What are you doing right now? This is insane. You're gathering up all these people's trash, and what are you going to do with it?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have a garage sale. I'm going to have a garage sale. A couple weeks before we move out of this state, I'm going to have a garage sale right here in the front yard, and I'm going to sell all these people's garbage back to them." And she thought I was absolutely insane. I said, "Let me tell you something. It's going to work. Trust me, it's going to work just fine." Not the first time I've done things that people didn't believe were possible, or that they didn't think it was going to work. Didn't matter. I think the important thing is for you to believe in yourself. And I had a vision, and I believed in myself, and I knew it would work. The fact of the matter is, all the stuff that I gathered up was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. Those people just didn't want it anymore. So maybe their neighbors wanted it. Now, my wife at the time wanted no part of this operation. She felt like we were going to stick this out in the front yard, and these neighbors were going to be like, "What is this? This is my garbage. I threw this out 2 months ago." She wanted no part of it. I said, "Listen, pipe down. It's going to work. Trust me." So what happened was, like I said, I a couple months went by. I had a room full of stuff that I'd gathered up. And of course, just like I said, people started coming to the garage sale, and they all started buying all their neighbors' junk. That's what happened. And the beauty of it was, of course, at garage sales, people want to haggle with you on prices. Hey, I love to haggle. I love negotiating. And let me tell you, I gave them all great deals on their neighbor's trash. Had $10 on a microwave. That got knocked down to $5, no problem. Take it, man. We're moving out of here anyway. So that's what happened. Ended up making $300, $400, $500 at this garage sale. And so we moved back. We moved to Ohio, mostly on that money from that garage sale. So all I had invested in that garage sale was a little bit of time and some strategy in my mind, but outside the box thinking, right? So that's my garage sale story. Funny, right? So back to this little puzzle right here. How can you do it with 4 lines that don't leave the paper? 4 straight lines that don't leave the paper. So here's how you do it. Let me see if I can do this. All right. So guys, here's how you do it, right? Start here, up here, up here. But we're going to go out past that line, down here, and go out past that line like that. That's how you do it, right? So the way we did it was, it's outside the box thinking, because we extended out past the borders of the 9 dots, right? By extending out past the borders of the 9 dots, you're able to connect all the dots within the 9-dot puzzle. That puzzle's been around for over 100 years, but it's still really good example of outside the box thinking. So Yeah, so there's the solution to the 9-dot puzzle. You have the garage sale store that I told you, but now the question is, and this is the real challenge, and this is what I think is going to help you the most from this video. Those are great examples of outside the box thinking. Those are great examples of lateral thinking. However, how can you do it? Because as online entrepreneurs, you are going to face problems every day, no matter what stage of your business you are at, whether you're a beginner, whether you're a mid-level marketer like me, whether you're a little bit past a beginner, you're an informed beginner, whatever, you are going to face problems every day. How can you employ outside the box thinking to help you in your business? Well, I'll tell you something. The best way to spark lateral thinking is by asking questions. You have to ask questions. And I want to give you 5 questions right now that will help you spark lateral thinking in your business. Okay? So what are the 5 questions? All right, question number 1. Okay? How would a type of person from a different background or expertise solve this problem? Right? An example, James Patterson. He was an author, but before, well, you know James Patterson as an author. Before he was a famous author, he made TV commercials. So he wrote his first book. His publisher wasn't promoting the book. So he decided, I need to solve this problem. So he made a TV commercial for himself, right? He made his own TV commercial for his book. Boom, it worked. The book took off, and you know the rest is history. James Patterson's famous author, right? But that was outside the box thinking, right? And he used a skill from a different place that he had to think about it, right, from a different background. Instead of thinking about it from the background of a book author, he thought about it. Hey, Rick, what's going on, man? Tosh in the house. Lord Puckett. Jussie, what's going on, guys? So instead of thinking about it like an author, James Patterson had to think about it like someone who made TV commercials, right? He was thinking outside the box, and he used that question to do it. Question number 2. How have people in different industries than yours already solved similar problems in the past? How have people in different industries than yours already solved a similar problem in the past? There was this hospital in London, and they had this life support system, and they had children on this life support system. They were trying to figure out like a way that they could move the children from this system to another system. Like it was a complicated system, right? And they were trying to figure out a way to make this happen effortlessly, smoothly, and to where nobody got hurt. And to make this happen successfully, what they ended up doing was they ended up studying race car pit crews, because it was like a similar situation. People drove the race car into the pit, and the pit crew had to do all these crazy changes on the car really fast and get them right back out there. So they studied them, right? And that is how they were able to solve the problem. So they looked in a different industry to solve a similar problem, and that's how they found a solution. Now, guys, here's what I want you to understand. They didn't have to look in a different industry, okay? This is the point. They didn't have to look in a different industry. They could have stayed in the same industry, but they looked in a different industry to spark lateral thinking, right? They needed to find ways to break out of the box, right? That's why they did it. Okay, here's the 3rd question. What if you had to use a different era of technology or a tool from a different job for this job, right? What if you had to use a different era of technology or a tool from a different job for this job, right? The easiest way they figured out to open blister packs. You guys know about blister packs? You got stuff, you buy things, and it comes in these plastic blister packs, and they're like impossible to open. Have you ever bought like tools or some kind of thing from the store that came in these blister packs? They're like impossible to open, right? And like they figured out that the easiest way to open these blister packs was with a can opener, right? A can opener is the easiest way to open blister packs. It's amazing, isn't it? That's an example of using a question like that to spark lateral thinking, using technology that was meant for something different from a different era, or a tool that was meant for a different job, to solve this problem. So next time you're having a problem with online marketing, maybe you need to look at how Domino's solved their delivery driving problem. You know what I mean? Outside the box. Spark lateral thinking. I got 2 more questions for you, okay? Question number 4. What if you had to do this 10 times better? Okay? What if you had to do it 10 times better? You had to do it so much better that you could not just do more of the same. Like, you couldn't just do what you were already doing and do more of it. That's impossible. That you could be 10 times better just by doing more of the same thing you're already doing. You would absolutely have to change your whole system to be 10 times better than what you already are. What if that was the case, right? An example, Google wanted to make a car that was 10 times safer than the cars that are out there right now. Did they try to look at making more stronger parts? Did they try looking at producing more industrial equipment, better staff, more efficient design? No. They thought the best way to make the car safer was to get a computer to drive it, because a computer was going to produce less errors, right? So this sparked the whole Google self-driving car technology, trying to build a car that was 10 times safer, right, than the cars that are out there right now. So pretty neat, right? I hate driverless car technology, to be honest with you, but that's a great example of outside the box thinking. And okay, so the fifth question for sparking lateral thinking, because lateral thinking is the way to go, guys. Listen, what do you need lateral thinking for? Everything, okay? Everything. If you want to launch a product, you go to like Warrior Plus, or you go to JVZoo, or you go to ClickBank, and you look at what's already out there in your niche. And for you to do well, you need a new angle. You need a new angle on a problem that people have. That means in the internet marketing space, that's traffic, that's conversion, that's list building, affiliate marketing. There's a basic set of problems that people keep having over and over and over again. And most of the products you see out there keep on solving the same set of problems. However, the ones that do it really well, they always come with a new angle. Somehow they're able to think outside the box to put something new on the table that's going to solve an existing problem for a set of people, right? So that's why it's so important. So here's the fifth question for you. What if we had to do this 100 times cheaper, right? What if what you're doing right now, you had to do it 100 times cheaper? Like, you had to do it so cheap, there's no way you could just do the same thing but try to do it like more efficiently, right? You had to do it like really cheap, right? Stanford, they created this baby incubator for third world countries. Like, and a typical baby incubator at a hospital was going for $20,000, right? They couldn't do it. It was too expensive. What did they do? Because they asked this question, if we had to do this 100 times cheaper, right? What would we do, right? So what they came up with was this baby incubator that cost them about $200. This baby incubator saved over 90,000 lives, right? 90,000 babies have been born in third world countries because of this baby incubator that cost $200, right? And there's no, like, the baby incubator, it's supposed to be like $20,000, right? But because they were thinking outside the box, and they're like, well, look, it's $20,000. Let's throw all that away. Here's the purpose of the thing. How could we solve this problem like for way cheaper? Absolutely way cheaper. I'm talking like hundreds, not thousands. And that's how they did it, right? That's how they solved it, right? So anyways, that's it, right? That's it. That's lateral thinking for you. You got to ask yourself questions. You have to not say, I can't do this because of this. You have to say, how could I do this? Even though here's what I'm facing right now. What is a way around this, right? That will spark lateral thinking. That will spark outside the box thinking. You need it. So get on it. Anyways, guys, I hope you found this video helpful today. Hope you got some value out of it. And if so, man, give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. Let me know you're live out there. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, everybody.